NBA rundown time, and you might be thinking to yourself, wait, there's no games today. Well, you know, our guy Travis, he always says no days off. No days off for us either. We're going to get this playoff preview out to you early. We're going to be talking about the playoffs overall. We're, of course, going to have a show on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. You know, hey, maybe we change some picks by then, right? Maybe someone else gets suspended. Maybe someone else punches a teammate between now and then. But we have an all-star panel with you today making his NBA rundown debut. He had to defeat me in ping pong to earn the right, but he put me away with a solid forehand. Our guy, Rubio Dimes, welcome to the show. How you doing today?
Well, it's an honor to be here. It was great to meet you guys at the party, too. And I always watch this show, like, at least 2 times a week because I always just put it on the background, too. And there's been some times, like, I just, like, remember, like, a couple of weeks ago, I tailed the Raptors pick and stuff, and it hit against the Heat. And, you know, I just wanted to be a part of this. I wanted to talk about the NBA playoffs. And, you know, like I said, it was great meeting you guys at the party and stuff. And, oh, man, it's going to be an exciting time. I can't wait. Thanks for having me on in the first place, too. It's the first time I've been on a show with any of you three, so it should be fun.
All right, and our guy JC is with us. JC, life's a little different for you since the last time we spoke. How's fatherhood changed your life?
You know what? Not as much as I thought. It's Dad. As far as my day-to-day life hasn't changed much. I'll tell you what, babies, great stress relievers. You ever get worked up, man? Just hold a baby. It's a blessing. But I'm hoping, you know, first show since you said like becoming a dad, I'm hoping I got some dad strength, some like OBJ at the Super Bowl kind of action. So it should be all winners for me today.
That's what we're expecting. Just like Fred VanVleet, right? Had a baby and just came out and became an all-star. Tyler.
Example after example of dads having great showings. So, yeah, I'm hoping to join that elite group.
Yeah, and, you know, it continues to work. We're going to get Tyler on Tinder this month to get some better results for next year. Tyler, what did you think of the NBA over the weekend? And any time during the week when we were together, did you want to punch me, your teammate, like Rudy Gobert punched Kyle Anderson?
No, I mean, never wanted to punch spread because I didn't want left in the field in Kentucky in a shallow grave because we know how you get down. So didn't need to climb the kill list any higher than I already was. But, yeah, it was nice to meet Rubio. And we got to keep this JC theme going about fatherhood and everything because he says it's easy now. And we'll ask him again next Monday, and we'll just keep this going. I feel like after a couple months, he's going to be like, yeah, this isn't as fun as it was the first couple months. Now the kid's crying. I actually have to pay attention to it a little bit more. So we'll keep that one going for him. But, yeah, glad to have Rubio on to talk some NBA playoffs. It's fun meeting him in Kentucky. And I think we got another guy jumping on right now, too. So bring him in. Bring our guy, the fantasy doctor, and Travis Mangone.
All right, Travis, we got a star-studded panel here today. How have you been? How was your weekend?
Yeah, weekend was good. I closed the NBA season strong with a nice little hit the other day. So it wasn't big, right, for Sunday, but I got the first place close in the single entry stuff. So that was fun. But excited to talk some playoffs. I'll admit, Spread, I didn't dive super deep into the odds and stuff yet. So you're gonna get some really good first looks from me. But I'm excited to talk the playoffs with you guys. I see my boy Rudy Gobert and the Timberwolves are in regular season form, looking like a bunch of clowns. So feeling good about things, Fred.
All right. Well, how do we want to do this, Tyler? Do you want to start with some play-in action, or do you want to go over the odds just in general?
Yeah, I mean, we could start with the play-in because that'll decide some of this series where we think they'll play out. So we can start there.
Definitely.
All right. Well, we're going to get time for Rudy Gobert slander, but let's first talk about the Atlanta Hawks, who are traveling to Miami. I guess they changed their arena. I finally found the new name since it was FTX Center, but that was synonymous with embezzlement. So now they're the Kaseya Center. I don't know what that is. So we'll find out more about that. You know, maybe I can figure out what their corporation is. But the Miami Heat have taken some money, Tyler. They were plus 5.5 yesterday. We talked when these lines opened or on Saturday. They've taken a little bit of money. They're down to plus 4.5. The total is 226.5. And of course, the winner will go on to face the Boston Celtics. Tyler, you have said that this Miami Heat team is a tough matchup for the Boston Celtics. Do you think the 2 versus 7 is going to play out?
Yeah, I think 2 versus 7 plays out here, but I just feel like when you look at this game, just for a betting perspective, Miami -5 is right in that range where it's like, I think I have to be on the underdog here. Just because the Heat win games, but you just look back through their games, outside of that last week of the NBA where you just seen they were pulling guys out of the stands, putting whatever lineups on the floor, so those scores were just all over the place. When they sent their main guys out there, they did not win games by margin. Since January, they've had 2 wins by more than 6 points. I'm not looking to back a team -5 here like that. So I'll be on the Hawks plus the 5. I feel like the total's way wrong too. I feel like that total should be down in the team. Like that should be right around 214, 215. So love the under here too. But I do think in the end, it's a close game late in the 4th, and Jimmy Butler guts out a win for Miami, and they get that 7 seed. But I will be on the Hawks plus the points here.
Tyler, I've been known for my bias. I've been known for being a hater. And my first bet that I've made so far in the NBA playoffs is a hater bet. I took Trae Young under 24.5. They played the Heat 4 times this season. Trae Young scored 25 once. Otherwise, he went under in all the other 3. What do you think of my hater bet?
Oh, I don't mind it at all here. You got to think he draws a Jimmy Butler defense if he does start to get hot. Because it's basically a winner go home, not a winner go home game for Miami, but you would much rather be in that 7 seed, I feel like, playing a Boston team. They match up a lot better with Boston than they do Milwaukee now. I know they were able to sneak that upset over Milwaukee a few years ago, but they had a lot of other shooters surrounding those guys. Jimmy was a little bit younger. Bam was playing very well. I feel like they match up better with Boston now, so they would much rather be in that 7 seed.
JC, what are your thoughts when the Heat play the Hawks?
I mean, I think Tyler's right on with the spread. With that 5 is just such a hard number. I definitely think Miami wins, but I wouldn't lay 5 there. Maybe find a parlay or something because I don't really want to take Miami plus 5. However, on the total, though, I'm going to have to disagree with Tyler, which I do hate doing. But their last 3 games have seen 100 or 226 points or more. So unless you really expect the pace to slow down as this playoff, basketball kicks off, I'm kind of leaning the over here. So maybe I'll do something like that, parlay the over with Miami money line.
All right. So you like the over there. Rubio, what are your thoughts here when Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks take on the Miami Heat?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Spread. I'm a Trae Young hater, I would say. I'm just not a believer in the Hawks, and I'm a big believer in Eric Spoelstra and the Heat. The Heat have shown they can do it. I'm a big believer in Jimmy Butler. I just think they will show up when it matters. And my only fear is this backcourt for the Miami Heat. I think Tyler Hero has very much cooled off after a very hot start. That's my only fear is that this backcourt kind of gets a little bit exposed, especially defensively, but like you said, they have Jimmy Butler to cover up flaws. If Trae Young gets hot, DeJounte Murray or anything, it's just this Hawks team just felt like a collection of misfit toys. My camera is flickering. I don't know why, but it's bugging me a ton. But I just think this mishmash of this Hawks team, they're just a 500 team overall, and I think this Heat team has an extra gear. I'm just waiting to see it. I think I'm with you, Tyler, too. Like, playoff basketball slows down. Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler. I just think this becomes a little bit of a messy game, and that's the way the Heat want to play this. And I'm just all over the Heat here. I think we're going to get that 2-7 matchup, similar to last year. We almost saw the Heat pull off one of the best comebacks of all time and stuff. That series will be absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to see it unfold again, especially when you consider the Celtics have downgraded in coaching. It'll be a lot of fun this year.
And
there we go.
One fun argument before we get our guy Travis's breakdown here. I've heard a lot of guys talk about this game. They're like, Miami's got the giant coaching advantage. Quinn Snyder's no slouch of a coach. Like, yeah, he's in a new spot, but I don't think it's as much of an advantage as everyone out there is making it out to be.
You're right. Nate McMillan was from Nate McMillan, Quinn Snyder is an upgrade. I think that is without a doubt. At the same time, like we saw what Quinn Snyder back when he was with Utah, he kind of had that big mentality with Rudy Gobert. He just felt like he was a little bit slow to make adjustments sometimes. But hey, he's got a completely new team. Maybe that was just a Rudy Gobert thing. Your entire defense was centered around him. You had to keep him out there. You had to give him a chance. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I think you're right though. McMillan, from McMillan to Quinn Snyder is a big deal. It's a big upgrade too, for sure.
I also think coaching, it's a series deal, right? The advantage is so much bigger in a series compared to just a one game where one dude can get hot and it doesn't really matter what you drop. Travis, it feels like, we have a Miami Heat panel, but I know in the past you've been a fan of the Atlanta Hawks. Are you going to do some pushback, or is Skip Bayless just going to roll his eyes and turn off the show as we all agree?
Man, I'm torn because I agree on the Quinn Snyder's not like, don't sleep on the Quinn Snyder thing. My one thing that I'm a little nervous about is we know what playoff Jimmy can be like, right? But what about playoff Trey? I mean, playoff Trey gets spit on by fans and just goes out there and just drops an absolute monster game on people. So for me, this game is definitely closer than I think people realize. If I had to pick, I'm taking the +5. If I had to pick a side, that's where I would be. Just think it's too many points to be giving up there in this spot. Hate to say it, but like, my lean would probably be Miami if I had to pick. But I think this game is going to be really close. I think it's going to be a really good competitive game. This game would be, I think I would take the Hawks if it was a full series, mainly because I think the actual Hawks have a lot of different moving pieces to be able to make adjustments throughout a series. I wish they were playing as like the 6th seed, because I think being able to go up against like the Sixers or the Cavs or the Knicks, it'd be really interesting to watch them move their pieces around. I just don't think they're going to be able to make that many adjustments to beat the Bucks or the Celtics, so I don't think it's going to matter. But this Hawks team has a lot of different moving parts and pieces with Hunter and Bogdanovich, so they're a fun team to watch in like a 7-game series. So it's unfortunate we don't get that here, right? We only get one game and done. So, yeah, if I had to pick, I'd lean Hawks +5 here spread.
Travis, do we have prices out yet?
Do you have prices on what?
For this game, for DK.
We do.
For which
I thought so, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be a 2-game slate.
Oh, DFS wise, yes, we do. Sorry, I thought you meant betting prices. I was like,
no, I know you're the DFS guy. I've gone over all the betting angles. We're gonna get to those, but
okay, hold on. Yes, they are out. I did enter one contest. I entered the $20 just to put it in. There's $100K up top the first, so they got back to that.
Let me enter that right now.
Yeah,
it's a 2-game slate. 5:30 p.m. is the first game. 7:30 your guys' time, and then 10 o'clock Eastern. So yeah, we have prices. Trae Young is 10K. They actually moved. Actually, this is actually encouraging. Trae Young and DeJounte Murray were like 8-9 and 7-6, and now they're 10K and 8-8. So that's good to see they moved some price tags at least. That's actually encouraging. They did not move Tyler Hero's price at 6-8, but the team is healthier, so that does make some sense to keep their prices there. Butler's at 9K. That's actually a pretty good price tag there on him as well. Just because it makes you think, right? If he was like 7-8 or 8K, where he's been like lurking around at times this year, or even like 8-4, you'd be like, okay, well, it's playoff Jimmy against the Atlanta defense, and the Atlanta Hawks defense sucks, right? I mean, it's not good. So I do think there is some value there. Rudy Gobert did get suspended, so that's going to affect how we kind of make some adjustments with this game, because we have some injury news, right? I mean, it's not typical we're going to have injury news. I know you talked about this, Fred, how in the playoffs there's not a lot of injuries, so you're going to have to dumpster dive. Well, we are going to have some changes because of the suspension with Rudy Gobert. But one guy to discuss his price tag, Saddiq Bey, is 5.8K. And that feels expensive for Saddiq Bey spread. Like, you look at that price and it's not that comfortable. But you know who Quinn Snyder likes? Quinn Snyder likes Saddiq Bey. The minutes the last 3 games were 15, 27, and 25. But before that, 34, 38, 30. I mean, the guy was getting serious minutes at times. So if he's the starter, which I assume he's going to be in the starting lineup, if he is, he's got to be a guy on your radar even at 5.8K. It sounds like a disgusting price tag. I understand he can go out there and drop you 21 DK points, and that's not a satisfying score. But he has a very wide range of outcomes, and I do think they're going to need Saddiq Bey's shooting in this game. So if you're in a half-court setting, you're going to look for ways to get your sharpshooters open. I think he definitely makes some sense. You could argue Saddiq Bey is the new Kevin Huerter for that team when it comes to shooting the 3-ball. So I think definitely going to be an interesting guy that we discussed. John Collins is 5'3". You could obviously see, and this is where like some of these guys are going to lose run. Like DeAndre Hunter is 4'9". I think Hunter is going to get some serious run at times because they're going to need him against Jimmy Butler. They obviously threw him on Julius Randle in that one series, and they liked having him a ton. I think they're going to like having him on Jimmy Butler. The question is, what do they do with Clint Capella and John Collins? Because I could see this the matchup where if they're winning and things are going well, then they're going to have Clint Capella getting involved a lot. But if they're down, then they're going to go to John Collins at the 5 to stretch the floor and give the space and pace kind of atmosphere. So it just depends on where they're at in the game, right? It's kind of like the Timberwolves. When they're down, you see Rudy Gobert not in there as much, and they go to kind of that stretch look. And when they're leading and things are going well with the Rudy Gobert lineup or the Clint Capella lineup, then they're going to roll with that. Like if the Clint Capella screens are working for Trae Young and he's getting wide open threes, yeah, you're going to keep doing that. Or if the pick and roll is working, then they're going to do it. So you do have to understand that there's a big issue with the range of outcomes of minutes with these Hawks, right? Like it's just, you could see some crazy stuff happen. And also Bogdanovich could easily, like there's games where he doesn't close and there's games where he doesn't get as many minutes. He could easily steal minutes from a Sadiq Bey, right? He could steal it from him. He could steal it from other options. You could even put Sadiq Bey at the 4, put Bogdanovich at the 3. You clearly have Murray and Trae out there. And then your guy at the 5, I mean, it could even be DeAndre Hunter if they're playing Jimmy at the 5 at times. Now, they're probably not going to do that as much because Bam Adebayo is probably going to play 36 to 40 minutes. But, yeah, they just have a lot of routes where they're able to do it. The key is watching how do you handle Capella and John Collins. I group them away from each other for sure. I'd even consider grouping away DeAndre Hunter and Sadiq Bey a little bit maybe, or Bogdanovich. Like, I have to kind of figure out how I want to handle that. But you have to be intentional about how you build your Hawks teams for sure. So they don't cut into each other.
I agree with you. Separate Hunter and Bey.
Yeah.
Right? Even on a 2-game slate, the chances that they both go off, pretty low, right?
They just likely eat into each other's minutes. And one rule you could set, Spread, that might not be bad, and I know it's a 2-game slate, and I don't know what the opto is going to do, and it probably won't even put these guys together anyways, but maybe you set a rule of max of 2 of Bogdanovich, Bey, and Hunter. You can even do max of 1 if you really wanted, but you just have to be intentional about these guys.
I think it's easier to see Bogey going off next to either Hunter or Bey.
I agree 100%. But again, these are rules that you can set sometimes. And I have to see what the opto's doing. I have no idea what it's doing right now. I mean, I can get an idea based on like looking at prices, where guys will end up being at. Like Bam Adebayo at 7.7. It depends on the center position and what we do with it, right? Because I mean, I guess I don't know what the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to do with their lineup either. Yeah, I don't know what their starting 5 is going to be. I guess it's going to be Towns the 5, right? I mean, I would assume so. That's a whole dynamic that we'll talk about.
My guess is Prince just slides into the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Towns 5, Prince 4, A1 3, Kyle Anderson.
By the way, Taurean Prince is
Kyle Anderson will probably be the 4.
Paying 5-6 for Taurean Prince in the playoffs sounds disgusting. I just want
Travis, go look at their backups bigs.
No, I know.
It's gonna get ugly for them if one of those guys gets in foul trouble. We might get a Luke Garza sighting in the play-in tournament for Minnesota. That's how bad their backup bigs are spread.
You know who might start?
So it's gonna be the Knight guy. I can't think of his first name.
Nathan Knight.
No, Tyler. This sounds so stupid, but I think it could happen. They might start Austin Rivers.
And just go 3 guards up front.
They might start that. That doesn't mean they're going to close with Austin Rivers, but they might start Conley, Ant, Rivers, and then they go one of Kyle Anderson or Prince with Towns. Bring that one of those guys off the bench. That way they have some, and it might be Kyle Anderson off the bench to stagger the ball handling a little bit. And then when you do that, you then close with Kyle Anderson later on and not Austin Rivers.
I could see that. That makes a lot of sense. But what they have to work with, it's what makes sense.
Yes. And they like Austin Rivers. They do. I mean, he's a great guy to chase around.
He's one of those guys too. Like this is one of those games where he goes out there and it's like he has 5 threes and they're up 5 with a minute to go. It's like, how did this happen?
Yeah. And if you want a guy to chirp LeBron all game, I've heard he's got a mouth, so he'll be the mouthpiece. He'll go out there and talk.
You get a trio of revenge coming back on the other side, though, Travis.
I know it'll be a lot of fun. I'm excited. We'll obviously talk about that game, but yeah, that's kind of the DFS takes. It's hard to give a lot of great takes on it right now, but yeah, we're gonna be starved for value a little bit for sure.
And just to touch on one thing you brought up, when you pointed out that Jimmy Butler was 9K and it sounded like it caught your eye a little bit. Pulled up his numbers when he matches up with DeAndre Hunter. These are his stat lines his last 3 games versus him. 26 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, 15, 11, and 7, and 34 points, 3, 3, and 2. So he's had some really good games matched up against Hunter. We talked about playoff Jimmy. This could be one of the ones where he just rolls on the floor and he's the highest scoring guy on the slate.
Yeah, I do appreciate their pricing. Like they did a better job than I thought they were going to. So I'll give them that at least. And I mean, I love when we have to create some values. Like it gets ugly and you kind of have to dive in the mud, but that's when you kind of like sit there and you look at, you're building your teams. You go, what if I move it's like, what if I move, DeAndre Hunter from like 19 minutes to 23? I know that's not like the best example, but like the slightest of minutes can really adjust your projections enough to give you some interesting builds. And like, you might be looking at the slate and be like, I don't have any value, and Austin Rivers is starting. So here we go.
There we go.
Like,
Yep.
here we go. Like, just give it a chance and just kind of pray. And like, here's the other thing. Noel might sit, like, and they won't have guards. And then, I mean, then it's going to be Ant incoming like 40 million minutes, like, because they don't have forwards, they don't have guards. Like, it goes back to Peyton Pritchard yesterday. Like, and we're 20 minutes in and we haven't even gotten past this game. So, let me stop talking about it.
All right, quick though. Tyler, we're going to get your props tomorrow because we're back on tomorrow, same time with AP. Deeper dive into the slate, of course, when we know more. JC, did you have any props that you were looking for this game?
No, nothing. I haven't dug too deep into this game yet.
Okay, well, just give you a heads up. I'm going to ask you that same question for the next game, too. So give you a little time. Rubio, anything more on the Heat and the Hawks? Did you have any player props that you were targeting or any thoughts about the pricing?
No, I mean, the pricing, like Mangone said, it's incredible. Even the backup guards where I think the Wolves roll a 7-man rotation, even they're priced up to 4-2, Null and McLaughlin. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Like, I think you got to be creative. I'm definitely not going down to the Austin Rivers if he started, but I could definitely see that happening. I don't think they want to condense into a 7-man rotation, but if they don't, I think it would be a Rivers starting or something like that. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting slate. You just look at it DFS-wise, it is a mess. You have 0 value options and all the studs to choose from. And, that Jaden McDaniels injury, which I'm sure we'll get to in the next right here, right now.
We're going to do it right now. Let's do it. We'll start with you, Rubio. Go ahead. Break down the Timberwolves and the Lakers. Now, I know that Rudy Gobert made the headline, and I have plenty of time to talk tomorrow and everything too. But my main takeaway is this McDaniels thing is a way bigger deal than Gobert. And I go all the way back, and I probably shouldn't just circle certain games like this, but I remember when the Timberwolves beat Dallas right when they had acquired Kyrie and Luka, and we were still kind of high on that combination. The defense that Ant and McDaniels were able to play on both Kyrie and Luka was the difference in that game. I think on the defensive end, they're going to miss them a lot. And it sucks because I wanted to take a stand with the Wolves, but without McDaniels there, it doesn't feel like I can. What do you think?
You're exactly right. I think the McDaniels issue is a bigger news. Like I wanted to give Gobert a chance. And then I saw Chris Finch coach against the Nets, and it was one of the worst things I could witness. You didn't have Cat or Gobert there at the end of the game on the floor. You just had all these draft picks just wasted. You threw away the future, blah, blah, blah. That's beside the point. But Jaden McDaniels was a rising star. He's a defensive first guy. He is someone you need to win in the playoffs. And the fact that he's not there, breaking his hand, Amari Stoudemire action, punching a wall. I mean, that is brutal. Like, why? Why did he do that? I mean, I get it, frustration. I punched walls before, and I actually put a hole through the wall. But I'm just kind of.
What caused you to do that?
Oh man, I think it would be.
Was that when Travis beat you in ping pong?
I broke my phone one time when I didn't get a goal in a Champions League slate for soccer. I threw my phone on the carpet thinking it wouldn't break. Yeah, it shattered completely.
I've never broke anything throwing I've never done that. I never understood that because
you rub me as the kind of guy that just doesn't get that mad. Like you just kind of, I see you as the guy that like once you get so frustrated, you just kind of storm off and you're just like, I'm done here. Like I'm gonna go do something else.
I can't imagine like I had a friend. I think it's because one of my close friends growing up used to break Xbox controllers left and right. Like
I was gonna go there. I was gonna be like, yeah, you go through Ruby.
Like, this is like the fourth one we've gone through in like 2-3 months. Like, and we'd like sit down to play another game and you'd be like, oh, this one's broken. We can't play because we have all broken controllers because all you do is throw them. Like, maybe that's why I don't break them. I don't know.
JC, do you break things?
No,
never. We never seen you on Twitter punching the TVs or anything, or
No, you never will. I just like, you gamble responsibly and you won't run into that issue. Like I'll be pissed. I've caught some bad beats, but like I'm gonna make my bad beat worse by needing a new TV too. No, thanks.
It's never the money aspect of losing the bet. There's always something else that pushes you over the edge. Yeah. Like. There's a play you've seen. It's like, how did you even come to that conclusion on this play or something?
Right. It's like when you got the win spread and then they chunk up the 3 at the buzzer, like shit like that for sure.
Like just for instance, the shot went in. But when I bet Gonzaga versus UCLA and they ran that ball up the floor and hucked a 35-foot three, it was like, what are we doing? And it went right in. So it was like, all right, can't be mad. But if he bricks that shot, it's like, why was that the game plan?
No, I learned that recently that, like, it's not about the money. It is truly just winning and losing. Like, that's why we do this. That's why we continue to do this. The money's cool, but it's about winning.
JC, what's the winning bet for tomorrow night's game?
Man, I tell you, this is another game. That's 7.5 line. I could see it getting dicey, so I don't really want to bite on that. It's not out yet, but I think the money move here, whatever LeBron's free throw prop is placed at, just take the over. I don't mind his points. Another great play, but there is absolutely no way LA doesn't pick up the win. It's just impossible. I'm not a rigged kind of guy, but whatever it takes, the Lakers will be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I fully agree there. What do you think, Rubio? What's your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I think.
Or no, wait, we already got your thoughts, didn't we? Didn't spread go to you first?
Yeah, I'm on the Lakers too.
We'll go to Travis next then. Travis, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I like the Lakers. I mean, I hate
but what's our rule?
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, but they don't have McDaniels. I do think that matters.
Yeah, it does. It sucks. Otherwise, it would have been perfect for us.
That is my damn rule. You're right though. No Rudy Gobert equals a W for the damn Timberwolves zone. I will say this: the 7.5 is deep. Like, I don't know if I would keep watching.
It's
this
8 now on Bookmaker too.
That's what I was gonna say, Spread. We have the luxury of there's an entire 48-hour cycle to watch this number just go. I'm going to keep watching it. I might jump, like, if it gets to 9 or 9.5, and I'm not saying it will, but if it does, I might jump on that. Now, that just seems too deep. So that's definitely something I'm thinking about. But in the end, I do think the Lakers win this game. I am a big believer in this Lakers team going forward. I want them to win this game. I want them to play the Memphis Grizzlies in the next round. I want them to send Dillon Brooks packing, and I think they will send Dillon Brooks packing. So we'll see. We'll see, Mr. Zargos. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see about that. But I believe in this Lakers team. I'll at least say that. So hoping that they can get the job done. I'm excited to talk about the next playing games. I don't know if we're doing that today, but
yeah, let's do it. We'll do it quick. We'll start with you. We'll just do the whole Wednesday as a general, because we'll get obviously deeper in on Wednesday's show, 3:00 Eastern, RunPureSports.com. Chicago Bulls are plus 5.5 taking on the Raptors. Travis, this reminds me of the first week of the NFL playoffs where, we know that 7's the key number. And so they put all the lines right around 5, 6, right? So there's room to move without going through the key number. I see the same thing here, as both these games are 5.5. I see 3 that are not through that key number. Thoughts on Wednesday's playing tournament games? Yeah,
I'll admit I do not care that much about the Bulls and Raptors one. Like, I'm just that feels like the least appealing game to me. So I don't have too much takes to get there. It is a DeMar DeRozan revenge game spread, so we got that I guess in play. But that's all I got for you there on that. Thunder and Pelicans, I'm excited about. I actually like this Pelicans team a lot. I love Brandon Ingram and what he's doing right now. Herb Jones and Trey Murphy, what they're doing as 3-and-D defenders. The biggest issue is they have a big problem like the Timberwolves. They got a big, giant, stiff down low that sucks and isn't good and hurts that team. Like, it's just the truth. So I am rooting for the Pelicans to win that game against OKC. I would not be surprised if OKC covers the 5.5. They've been a great team all year. I'll admit I'm more hopeful the Pelicans win this game because I like their starting 5 a lot, except Valanciunas. That's the one thing I hope they can kind of figure out and find ways to kind of get him off the court at times. And I want to see them play the Timberwolves again because I think they will beat the Timberwolves. And if you could get Zion back, I think they could give the Nuggets a little bit of a run for their money.
They announced today, like, nowhere near return.
No, okay. Yeah, I felt like I saw something, but I didn't read it that well. So I do think they could have been the team to make it really interesting against the Nuggets. I know some people think the Thunder can do it. I don't think the Thunder are that bad. I think they have a chance, but I just think Jokic will be too much for them. So like I think Brandon Ingram has the ability to really take over a series, as crazy as that sounds. I think he can. So, and I don't think the Nuggets have they have Aaron Gordon, but like, I don't know. Brandon Ingram's pretty long. I think he's a little too long for Aaron Gordon.
I mean, he made one of the best perimeter defenders in the league punch a wall yesterday. So I don't think Aaron Gordon's got much for this guy.
I know. That's what I'm saying. So again, that's me being hopeful. Like I think that's how it could happen, but if the Pelicans play the Timberwolves again, I'm likely taking the Pelicans in that.
All right. JC, any thoughts on Wednesday's action?
Yeah, I like New Orleans. I think New Orleans is going to be in the playoffs. CJ McCollum, he's used to carrying teams in the playoffs. Will he pick up a series win against Denver? Probably not. But I think he can carry the Pelicans out of the play-in tournament.
You said it wrong, JC. It's Brandon Ingram carrying them, not CJ McCollum. The torch has been passed. I'm just calling it out. It's been passed. It's Brandon Ingram's team.
Regardless, McCollum's going to have over 22.5 points. You can say Ingram's the leader. That's fine, but McCollum's going to get the scoring done. So that's the play I like there. And then, am I good to touch on the Eastern Conference game?
Yeah, we'll just do Wednesday as a whole.
Okay, cool. I love the Bulls there. I think there's a pretty good chance they end up coming out of the play-in tournament. They should take care of Toronto in that first game, though. And any guesses on what my play is for that game?
The under?
No. Patrick Beverley over 6.5 points. He's a playoff guy. I know it's crazy. He comes alive in the playoffs. He's been playing pretty solid, closing out the year. They're gonna need everyone to get involved if they want to have a chance of making the playoffs. So 6.5, easy money, paying out plus money. Lock it in, people.
All right. I should have seen that one coming. Rubio, Wednesday's games, any particular takeaways you have? Those 5.5s I hate because they're tempting you to take the points and you could be covering the whole time and they can foul just right through it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. I'm actually with you guys on the Raptors and Bulls, the under, Tyler. That's what I like. I watched that Pistons Bulls game, and I played Jaden Ivey as a DFS play. I'll tell you, I was pissed off that I played Jaden Ivey because Alex Caruso stuck to him like glue. We're actually going to get Caruso with extended minutes, not in this limited phase and all that. And Pat Beverly, he's another guy who's just going to be a menace. And it just disrupts the offenses a little bit. DeMar DeRozan has taken a huge step back the last couple months. It's been awful to see. I mean, I can't, when he had 0 points through 3 quarters, that was tough to watch on national TV against the Bucks. But, we'll see. I like the Raptors. I actually do like the Thunder because I think they have the best player in the series. I'm sorry, man, going. Brandon Ingram's good. Brandon Ingram couldn't guide him to a win against a dysfunctional Wolves team. And I know that he played really well, but that's why it worries me. The Pelicans looked like they played really well, and they lost. And that scares me. And I think that we're actually going to see the Thunder shorten that rotation a little bit. I think the coaching is really good there with Dagnall. I'm just a believer in the Thunder. I think if they get into the playoffs, man, that's going to be a scary team for the next season too. I'm not saying – I think they can win an individual game. I'd love SGA. I think we've seen Jalen Williams absolutely blossom a little bit. But you're right. I don't think Jonas Valanciunas is going to be a guy who, the Pelicans want to rely on. You're going to see a lot of Larry Nance in this game. Maybe that plays into the Pelicans' favor a little bit, but I'm over the Thunder. I'm all over the Thunder here, and I really like the under in that Raptors game.
I'll admit, Rubio, there's definitely bias towards wanting to see the Timberwolves fail, even though I love my man Ant. But that's why they won. Ant's an absolute monster, and he just got the steal and got the job done. So we'll see. I mean, that'll be fun to see ran back. I'll say that. There's definitely some imagine. I'm assuming that game would be probably. I assume it'd be Friday night. Imagine just sitting down Friday night or whatever and getting to watch that rematch of from 5-6 days ago where we had all that drama. It's too good a TV not to have. So I'm hoping and praying that we get that.
One thing to touch on from that game that the Pelicans did lose, they shot 3 for 15 from 3 as a team.
Yeah.
If they shoot that bad again, they're probably going to lose, but NBA teams we're talking about, I don't think they're going to shoot that bad. I think Trey Murphy's going to beat that number on his own if they match up again.
By the way, I love what Trey Murphy's doing for that team. I'll also admit, selfishly, I want him in the postseason for DFS because I think he's going to put up some monster games and people don't realize it.
All right. Let's move on to just the main matchups themselves and pull the NBA series. I'm using Bookmaker
Before we get
right
into
now.
that spread, I just wanted to give out one fun bet on that because the play-ins. We talked about the Lakers number being a little bit too far and possibly the Pelicans. Just parlay their money lines to get you right around even money. I don't trust the Thunder as much as Rubio does. I get it. SGA is a great player. I bet him most improved. You just look on the other side. He's probably drawing Herb Jones defense. That is a recipe for disaster. They probably sit Joe Val, go small too. They might even run the 3 forwards up front and put 2 guards on the floor and not even put Nance out there with how small the Thunder are. So I like the Pelicans there. That Raptors-Chicago game, I think it kind of plays the same way where it's like, okay, Anunoby and Barnes can go slow down. Levine and DeRozan, Podol and Vucevic cancel each other out. And the guards are just washed on both sides. So I'm probably going to stay away from that game a little bit more. And if you didn't want to parlay the Lakers with the Pelicans, you could do it with them in the Heat. They get you right around the same price.
I like Lakers and Heat way more. I mean, Herb Jones is good, but this is the NBA. Offense trumps defense. And no, you're not stopping SGA. I don't even care.
Think about the guys he matches up with, spread. He never really draws a lengthy defender like Herb Jones. Like, he cuts off a lot of these shots he gets to in the mid-range. This game could play physical, too.
Tyler, let me take over this. One thing you're forgetting. This is important. In half-court style basketball, do you understand how valuable when you play a really good possession and you grind it out and you get those turnovers? Those turnovers are more valuable in playoff basketball, and that length is going to cause problems, I think, for them enough. Now, they do have Lou Dort on the other side. I mean, I get it. That's going to be a really fun game to watch, though. I am excited to see that, and I'm hopeful if the Thunder make it too. They're a fun team to watch, so I'll enjoy watching them as well. But I did want to ask JC Zargos over there a question. You think the Bulls make the play-in? So do we get or not the play-in? They make the playoffs. Do you think we get Patrick Beverley acting like he won a national championship again this year for another?
Oh wow, that's a great question.
Imagine the Lakers lose, right? Imagine the Lakers, they don't make the playoffs. I'm not saying that'll happen, but let's say it doesn't. And the Bulls make it, Patrick Beverley will be throwing literally bottles of champagne all over the court in excitement that he advanced and the Lakers didn't. Like, we just have a legendary meme or gif for a very long time.
I think you're right about that. Assuming they both make it, I don't think there's probably that same passion since he hasn't been with the Bulls all year. I think he'll probably celebrate a little too much, but I don't think it'll be on the same level that we saw last year.
I think it will. And go back to the one thing. One thing I would say is if the Thunder lose, I don't think it's going to be because SGA got bottled up. I think it's because he didn't get enough help. And so that's, I guess, where we're a little different.
None of those other guys on that roster have outside of Dort. Dort has some experience in the playoffs, but nobody else outside of SGA and Dort have played a playoff game.
I mean, it's not like the Pelicans are Golden State Warriors.
They played a playoff series last year. They went toe-to-toe with the team that was in the finals the year before that.
They definitely
That's fair.
They definitely have. I'm trying to think of the ages of all those guys, but it does.
CJ McCollum's been in conference finals. Also, he's went to battles when he was in Portland. Ingram's had playoff series.
Now.
It feels like they got men, and the other team just got some boys. I don't know. That's all I'm saying. Like a little bit.
I agree there.
Like, remember when Brandon Ingram came in the league? He wasn't tatted up like he is. He looked like a totally different man. Like, I don't know. I think BI takes over, but we'll have to see. Rubio thinks Shea takes over. So we'll have to see how it goes.
And I'm with our guy, We the People, in the chat. I know you said if they had Zion back, they can give the Nuggets some problems. I think they could beat them without him. Like, they suck against wing players. Ingram could crush this matchup.
He's right. They could, but it's very unlikely. This is the question. This is the best way to phrase it. Okay, I give you 100-1 odds, Mr. Zargos over there. Would you take the Pelicans against the Nuggets? 100-1.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay,
what odds would it take?
Now the question is, what's the line? Now, what can we get to make you get off of the Pelicans?
20-1. At 19-1, I say no. At 20-1, I'll say okay.
I'll still say yes at 19-1 personally.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing that they could win. I just love how much Tyler hates on Jokic.
Yeah, no, he does.
It's not even as much Jokic. It's just you look at the matchups of these two teams played. It's like, again, they have perimeter defenders and Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, and these guys. You get Jamal Murray.
I mean, you act like they don't have Aaron Gordon and Bruce Brown and perimeter defenders on the other side.
We just watched one of the best perimeter defenders, probably the best one in the West, in Jaden McDaniels, try and slow down Brandon Ingram, and he couldn't do it. I don't give a damn what Aaron Gordon does. He ain't covering Brandon Ingram.
Oh, wow. All right.
And we talked about Joe Val being a big stiff. He's just a big body that can keep Jokic out of the paint a little bit, slow him down. It just makes him work a little harder. So I think there's a pathway where the Pelicans can give him a lot of problems.
We the people, you're on the Pelicans over the Nuggets too? What's going on today?
Spread, but here's the point. Like, okay, like you think the Nets have a better chance of beating the Sixers? Like where's
no.
Okay, like again, a lot of these favorites are gonna hit where I talk about this each year. In the first round, it's very sharp to just like, I'm not a big parlay guy, but you can parlay a lot of these favorites to win their first round series, and they just advance through. And do it now rather than later because the lines are going to keep moving. But like, if you had to pick some dogs, like the Pelicans aren't dead. Like they're not. They're definitely not. And of course, injuries can happen. But even without injuries, I don't think the Pelicans are absolutely dead.
And the Nuggets,
they lost to the Timberwolves.
They shot 3 for 15 from 3. It was one game.
I don't know what to tell you.
I don't disagree, though.
Spread. Your Kings lost to the Hornets as 17-point favorites at one time.
I'm not on here picking the Kings to win a playoff series, am I?
I'm saying it's one game. It's the NBA we're talking about.
I agree with Mangone, though. I mean, you look at the playoffs, and I think the East is going to be extremely chalk. But looking at the West, you're not going to be blown away if anyone loses in the first round. Like, you can realistically see any of these teams losing in the first round.
I think you
except for Denver.
No,
I'm not saying I'm calling a Pelicans win at -100, but I'm going to look at these odds in the West, and I'm going to highly consider these dogs depending on the odds. I need to understand what they are, and when we get there, that's the key.
Denver will be in the second round.
It wouldn't even compare if the Denver lost in the first round.
Thanks for that really heartbreaking analysis.
It wouldn't even compare to Milwaukee losing the first round. Like Milwaukee loses in the first round, that'll be crazy upset. But I don't think you're going to have that same reaction if somehow Denver fell.
I think all 4 top seeds in the West are vulnerable in the first round. Yeah. And I love the Suns.
The Nuggets are not vulnerable in the first round.
Yes, they are.
Breaking news from Spread Astaire. The Nuggets are a clear favorite to make the
I'm just saying what the whole chat's saying. Stop it right now. Nobody thinks the Nuggets are losing in the first round.
I need to get my breaking news horn out. That's what I need to do.
Unbelievable. All right, let's go to another one that we think is pretty easy. I think here we'd have to go for the series prices, right, Tyler? Anyone on the panel taking the Nets over the Sixers?
It would take injury for me to get on them.
So yeah, let's maybe just talk about like what you would want to play, a 4-1, a 4-2. How do you approach this? Well, Tyler, I'll get your thoughts later this week. Let's start with JC. Nets.
I'm sorry. What's the question? I didn't get the question there.
Nets Sixers. Just talk about it. I mean, I'm just saying. I don't think anyone's taking the Nets. So
this Nets team just got to ride the. It's such a lead in the race with Durant and Kyrie that they just didn't have time to lose it. Like, this is not a playoff team. They have no business being here. As much of a choke artist as Philly is, I don't think it's going to happen here. Like, they'll get through the first round, and then they'll probably get, like, gentleman sweep by Boston.
Oh, wow.
That's what I see happening here.
Okay.
Even because looking at the odds, I mean, even plus 600 on the Nets, I don't think is enough to even risk it. Like, again, like I said, if there was a team that was going to choke in such an epic proportion, it's Philly. But I think they can manage a 7-game series against the Nets.
Yeah, I agree. Rubio, talk to me about 76ers Nets, and then how, if it did happen, 76ers Celtics in the next round.
Yeah, I think when you look at this Nets team, I see a lot of what the Pacers kind of had in 2012, 2013, 2014, when they built up that challenge to the East, to LeBron and Wade and Bosh. And I think they have a ton of defensive pieces. And Mikal Bridges, I think this is why it's so important for Phoenix to win this year. I think they traded a star in Mikal Bridges. I think he's an absolute stud. I think especially both sides of the ball. I think he has this ceiling to be a Paul George. And I think, if they can limit this backcourt, Claxton's not going to get ran off the court. If he suffers foul trouble, he'll be out. But this isn't a series where Claxton just disappears like we've seen in the past, where Claxton just kind of gets played out of the rotation. And I think this is a better matchup than mostly what you would hope for when you're the Nets. Like, you kind of match up well. You got good defensive pieces that kind of limit Harden and Maxey. You got Claxton that kind of hopefully try and limit Embiid. That's not going to happen. Embiid's going to have his way. But I think I wouldn't be surprised if they steal 2 games. I just think that, we've seen Philly kind of choke a little bit in this Nets team. I like defensive teams, and they transformed themselves to a team where they have defensive pieces and they have 3-point shooting. 3-point shooting goes a long way. They got really good 3-point shooters. So I'm bullish on them. I'm really bullish on them next season. I think we have a full year with a full off season with this core that they have. They can really make some noise, but I think it can go 6 games. That's some value I see there. But I think if we do see Celtics Sixers, this is something where I play so rare, and I got to pick my playoff matchups. Basically, I got to pick guys who are going to go to the finals, and I have Embiid right now. I'm sitting here thinking about flipping Embiid to Giannis or something, because I just can't see them getting through the gauntlet of the Celtics first off, then having to face Giannis. This Philly team just has such a monumental task. We've seen Tatum and Brown are absolutely battle tested. I'm worried about the Sixers. I'm worried that Embiid has peaked. The Sixers have peaked overall. I just don't see them getting past the second round. Even with Joe Mazzulla coaching, it's still Doc Rivers coaching the Sixers, and that is not a good thing. I think the Celtics take him in the second round. It's a shame. I love Embiid. He's one of my favorite players, but second round exit, like what has been the theme.
Travis, breaking news. I think the 76ers beat the Nets. What do you think?
My horn's not working. Hold on. Breaking news. Spread Astaire likes a favorite to make the second round of the NBA.
I mean, the first to me, I think the first round this year, the West is different because 2, 3, 4, I think are vulnerable. But normally the first round of the NBA playoffs is so overrated. It's usually just a bunch of teams getting stomped in one good 4-5 series, or a weird 2-7 series that shakes out.
It is, but as Mr. Zargs over there said, for us, we like to be right. We like to win, right? So why not bet some Sixers 4-2? I like that. I like Rubio's take on I think this goes 6 games. I don't think the Sixers just absolutely curb stomp them. I think the Nets can get W's in here. I think I could see the Sixers sleeping on them. You know what else I could see the Sixers doing? I could see them up 3-0 or something, and just kind of mess around too much and just be like, oh, Embiid is randomly out. I could see it. It wouldn't shock me. This team does stupid stuff like that all the time. We've seen it in postseasons at times where Embiid has sat games where why is this dude sitting? It's the postseason. We've seen it. Not saying it's gonna happen, but I just could see the Sixers mess around a little too long with the series. That's all.
Will Embiid mess around and sit out, or mess around and get a triple-double like the great Ice Cube did in 1993?
We'll have to see. But the Sixers win the series, right? We know that. And then I'm assuming they'll play the Celtics. I agree with Rubio. I think the Celtics are the best team in the East. I feel pretty confident in that, despite their lack of coaching. Is to say. But I like the Sixers. Not much else to talk about there.
Yeah, breaking news that you were getting on me for breaking news. I mean, I guess at least you did take a stand and say you like the Celtics out in the East.
I already forgot. This morning I locked in Sixers sweep. I bet that this morning.
At 4-0?
Yeah.
What number did you get?
I think it was plus 225.
That's
plus
it?
Yeah,
Wow.
I could see it happening, but at that price, I can't bet it.
So the thing is, too, and you guys were mentioning, I forgot who it was last year. Someone came out and said, I don't know if it was a retired player or current player, that sometimes, when you're kind of down late in game 4, you'll let it go just to make the other team come back to your city.
That's the key of why going 6 might be tougher. Is you have to win that one on the road, right? So I would have to, and this is actually a good conversation point, is looking at the betting prices for when you're trying to make these, is it going to be a 4-1 or a 4-2? Trying to buy the prices between sites and see what's the best line you can get. Because maybe we don't really know if it's going to be a 4-1 or 4-2 at times or 4-0, but there might be a price that just might make more sense instead based on shopping between sites. So I think that's the best way to kind of handle these series bets.
I see 4-1. I do not see 4-2. I don't see how this game goes 6.
4-2 is a little tougher. I forgot about.
And that's win both their home games?
No way.
They could. They could win both.
I don't think it's that crazy.
But the question is,
I got a fun one for you
I have it in front of me. The correct score prices are 4-1 is plus 175. Okay. 4-0 is plus 270 on FanDuel. 4-2 is plus 410. Now you're getting more than double for the 4-2, right? It's interesting. That's all I'm going to say. It's something to think about.
What a great day. Kurt is in the chat and Mikey is not. Tyler, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I agree with the guys. Philly wins this series, but it's Philly we're talking about. They really don't have a bench like our guy We the People said. And they're just not a team that I think really threatens to win a championship. Now, there's these parlays where it's game one in the series win. We see this year after year. We watch one of these series play out in game one, and the next day on ESPN, all they're talking about is, does this top seed, after them losing game one, are they in trouble? Well, on DraftKings, there's a Brooklyn Nets to win game one, and Philadelphia wins the series at 5-1. I think there's a good possibility Brooklyn rolls in, they get overlooked in game one, they hit a ton of threes, and Brooklyn steals game one and then gets 4 games right out of the door, and they lose the series 4-1. So I don't mind taking that shot right there. And if you do think it goes 4-2, another one, the series spread on this one is Brooklyn plus 2.5. You're getting about plus 150 on that.
Sometimes I forget how young, our audience skews. And then I see comments like this and it reminds me. That's Doc Rivers, who's an NBA playoff champion, who has won a title and has a ring. Has he ever won a playoff series? The answer is yes. Yes.
But here's another question. Do you think the Boston Celtics would have won more titles without Doc Rivers and a better coach?
I mean,
how many times
that team was
first of all,
in the finals?
The problem with Doc Rivers is that he didn't age. I think he was a really good coach back then. The thing is, the league has changed so much, and he hasn't. I would argue no. I mean, what would they do? They would beat Kobe the next year? That was a coin flip to begin with.
I'm a firm believer in if Kendrick Perkins stayed healthy, they win that series. But I know that sounds crazy to say that Kendrick Perkins was that big of a deal.
I thought it was
it came from Kobe Bryant's mouth. Kobe Bryant literally said that was a big deal. Like it mattered.
All right. I'm totally in shock. You threw me off.
Yeah. Basketball was different back then. It's a totally different game.
Oh, Jake's feeling his age. All right. No, I'm just messing around. You guys know that when I put you on the screen, right? It's all good time here. Anything more on this series, guys? Stop me if there is. Otherwise, the New York Knicks plus 176.
I have one question I'll ask. What price would people take the Nets at? Like, what price would you be like?
It's plus 614 right now. I think I'd have to get 10-1.
I need like 25-1. I think
you're basically. What are the chances that Embiid breaks his face or pulls a hamstring? It's 10%.
Yeah, that's the only way you win this series is you need an injury to the big guy, because if Harden snaps his leg in game one, Philly probably still wins this series pretty easily.
I asked the question because it's not like Philly has shown us they're this juggernaut that takes care of teams. Okay, like they're just the Hawks did beat them that one year. And everyone was like, even including myself, the Hawks are going to be a great team. And like, this Hawks team has not bounced back since then. Like, they have not been good. So I'm just asking the question. I definitely liked the trade for the Nets when it happened. I thought it was good for both sides. I still think it's good for both sides because it cleared the cap for the Mavs to figure out whatever they want to do for Luka going forward. But I don't know. They have wing defenders. I just wonder. I don't like the price of $560. I see $560 on FanDuel. I don't like that price, but it's just good to ask yourself that question when kind of figuring out how to make your series bets. That's all.
I mean, I would agree. I think Philly losing in the first round would be far less shocking than Milwaukee or Boston losing in the first round. I think that just shows that kind of drop of talent there is.
Not to Tyler.
And this Sixers team is better than it was in the past, right? They do have Maxey, who's it's a better Sixers team. They do have PJ Tucker if you value him for whatever he's worth. But yeah, I'm just asking the question because I think it's a good comment.
Tyler, you think the Heat have a better chance of upsetting the Celtics than the Nets do the Sixers, correct? And let us know why if I am.
I just think it's a better, just as of right now, it's a better matchup. Like, you just look at how Miami plays Boston. They have defenders they can throw on these guys like Tatum and Brown. They play those guys very tough. They figured out Brown last year. It's you just strip at the ball as he comes into the mid-range area and he just loses control of it. Bam plays very good when they match up with that team too. And the coaching advantage. Spoelstra, you just said it. He's a series coach. After game one, he makes some adjustments. They come back, get game two, lose game three, make some adjustments, come back, get game four. They could just make it a slugfest with Boston. So I never count out a Miami team that's just still got grinders on it like Butler and Bam and those guys. And the guys surrounding them Like, it would be a long shot, but in a week and a half, if we were like, wow, Strus, Hero, Vincent, and these guys just shot a combined 40+% from three in every game, and Miami won that series in 7 games. Like, I know you guys say that's very out there, but I don't think it's as far out there as people think.
All right, RunPureSports.com, guys, give us the thumbs up. The New York Knicks plus 176. Tyler, does your team have a chance? You got plenty of time to talk about it this week, so make it quick and then throw it to JC.
Yeah, I'll make this one quick. I do think they have a chance, but I'm on the Cleveland side. I just think this Cleveland team's the elephant in the room in the East. Everyone wants to put Philly, Milwaukee, and Boston in a tier of their own. The guys on Cleveland could make some real noise in the East. If Mobley and Allen get going as bigs, it's going to be tough to score on the inside. We know what Donovan Mitchell can do when he's hot scoring outside. They have some wing defenders too. They don't have the most out there, but they have a few. They can beat. I think they could beat any of the top 3 seeds in the East if they play them and play their best games. But for this series, I think it maybe goes 6 games, maybe 5, but I think the Cavs etch it out in the end.
Knicks fell apart in their last playoffs appearance 2 years ago. JC, do you think they'll perform better this time? Personally, I think so. I think Jalen Brunson is that dude, and he's going to make it a little bit easier for them to get buckets in the half court with the game on the line.
Yeah, I think this is a really tough one. I think that's a really hot take by Tyler, thinking that series will be that short. I don't have a pick here. I haven't watched much of these teams this season, and I don't know. I can easily see it going either way. Your initial instinct is to grab Cleveland, but the Knicks won their last 3 games against the Cavaliers. I think it's going to be a tight series. I think it's going to be the most competitive series in the first round. The only bet I would have is just betting on it to go 7 games. I couldn't pick a winner here.
All right, Rubio. Tyler thinks the Cavs are going to win fairly easily. JC thinks it's going to be a dogfight to the very end. Where do you fall on this side? And is Knicks plus 176 tempting to you at all?
Not really. And I think I'm not a huge Randall believer at all, but that ankle injury is still lingering. He got returned by the first game. He might be limited, and that's going to be a huge deal. And I'm glad they got Hart. I think Hart made them a better team. It gave them more versatility. RJ Barrett, maybe he's made the step. But, I mean, it ultimately comes down to whether they can win games. And I'm with Tyler here. I'm a big believer in the Cavs because I like what Donovan Mitchell brings. He's the best player on the series. I like what Darius Garland brings to the team.
Is he?
I think he's better than Jalen Brunson. I think he's better. I don't think Randall's a playoff guy either. And I also look at Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. You have 2 guys there where, you know, the Knicks don't really go small often at all. And they have Hartenstein and they have Mitch Robinson there. And if they do decide to go small, well, guess what? Mobley can just slide over to the 5 a little bit and they can put some guys in there. But they'll keep Jared Allen out there because Jared Allen is a stud. I just love the way this sets up for the Cavs too. I just think that they're a great team that maybe they're a year away from really making noise, really getting into that 52, 53 win range because they came so close this year already. And I think that, you know, they're a good team that we kind of shorted just a tad bit. And yeah, I'm kind of with Tyler. I'm curious to see how Chris Middleton's knee holds up too, because, you know, let's say Chris Middleton's hurt. I mean, maybe the Cavs can make noise against the Bucks too. So yeah, I'm bullish on the Cavs. I'm down on the Knicks. So it's just natural to go with the Cavs here.
If they would have made the trade for Anunoby at the deadline, I'd be licking my chops for next round's matchup against the Bucks.
They're a solid 3 away from being great because right now you have like Lamar Stevens, like Isaac Okoro.
Agbaji's going to end up being good, I think.
Who?
Yeah.
The Kansas guy.
The Kansas guy that got traded for Donovan Mitchell?
He's on Utah.
Yeah.
No, who's the 3? Oh, Okoro. I'm sorry. Okoro.
That was Auburn.
And he's got length. Yeah. That's not bad because they need a guy who can just a 3-and-D guy there. And, you know, maybe they get it next year. But I think like Anunoby, like you said, I think that would have given that little bit of a step up because I think that's all they're missing right now. I will be curious to see how many 3-guard rotations they do with my boy Ricky Rubio. I don't know if it'll be too often.
Yeah, I did see that sticker on your laptop. So the one place I'll disagree with you, unfortunately, I can't take the Knicks over the Cavs because I do believe the supporting cast is so much better. But take out the bubble. Donovan Mitchell has been really inconsistent in the playoffs. Well, to me, I know it's a small sample size as well, but Jalen Brunson was a killer when given the opportunity last season when Luka sat. So I think Brunson might be the best player on the floor, but the Cavs are so deep it won't matter. What do you think, Trav? Who would you rather have? Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, and talk about this series?
I'm with you, Spread. Not so fast, my friend. I think Jalen Brunson is the best player in the series. Does that mean they win the series? I don't know. Also, the question is, what price is worth betting, right? We're talking about betting. And I do think the number on the Knicks at the plus 180 is intriguing. I would like to know Julius Randle's status. Do we even know? Like, I don't know what his status is.
I don't think you see him game 1 and possibly game 2.
Now, you guys know me. I'm not a big Julius Randle guy, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. They have enough pieces where I think they're able to get the job done. And Spread, we're always not willing to change. We're always not willing to see when stars are about to be born or players are about to grow. Some of these Knicks young players could grow a lot in this series and could really show up. You're trying to tell me a duo of Quickly and Brunson couldn't absolutely just go out there and you're looking around and you're like, wow, Quickly and Brunson outplayed Garland and Mitchell and like they won the series. It wouldn't shock me. I think it's an interesting price. I kind of want it to get a little bit better. It was plus 200 early on. I wish I would have jumped on it at that price. So I haven't made any wagers on it. I'm going to keep watching. I'm going to keep thinking about it and seeing. Maybe I'll wait for a couple games to go through and then make a wager on the series. That's another way I can go about it. But I do think this is a really interesting series. And I agree with Tyler's point. I think they could give the Bucks problems. I also think that Middleton is going to be hurt throughout this playoffs. I think you're going to look back and all the Bucks slappies are going to be like, man, if Middleton was just healthy. It's like, well, he hasn't been healthy all season. He's looked like crap all season. Like, so it doesn't matter. Like, I do think this Cavs team is a good team, but I do think Jalen Brunson is the best player in the series. And we have seen at times that the best player in the series does just win it. But also we see when the best player in the series, they don't have enough firepower, and you can make
right. Like LeBron's the best player in the series on all those Warriors Cavaliers matchups, right? And
correct.
Some of them were 4-1 Warriors because the Warriors had the second best, third best, fourth best, fifth best, sixth best player, right? And then you had Kevin Love or whatever.
I think the way this series is won is Brunson has to be the best player in the series, and I think those young players have to step up. The question is that price worth it? It's more of a stay away for me right now. I would really love to watch game 1 and then make the decision. If the Knicks make the upset, though, it would be tougher to obviously pull the trigger. The Cavs they're the home favorite, right, to start things off.
Yeah, they're going to be the home team. They're the 4 seed.
I actually think Philip brings up a good point. I don't think the Cavs have that much depth. Now, how big of a deal
does it matter in the postseason? We talked about a 7-man rotation for the Timberwolves either. I think Cavaliers could pull.
I don't think they're going to go any deeper than 8. Like, I think you get some Rubio minutes, you get maybe some Stevens minutes, and LeVert's your other guy.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I think that's enough. But like, it's not like, no offense, Rubio. It's not like Rubio and like LeVert are these like world beaters, right? But Lamar Stevens and Okoro, it's nothing. Like, so yeah.
Fantastic reaction. We talked about clipping stuff earlier. I mean, that was the clip for you right there, Rubio.
You have a World Cup winner coming off the bench, someone who brings that experience. He won the Olympics, didn't he? Or no, he won the World Cup in 2018. Come on, man, go and put some respect.
He plays soccer?
Yeah.
No, the World Cup of basketball.
Bad joke. Let's move on because
one thing I wanted to touch on, I won't argue Travis's point about the best player in this series because I think there's the argument for a couple guys in this series. One thing he said, there's going to be a star that's born in this series. He's right about that, but he had the team wrong. Mobley's going to be at the end of this playoff run. Everyone's going to be like, wow, dude should have definitely went first in that draft. He's a stud big man, and it's like, he is just gonna smash the league and just take over here soon.
I guess he already knew he's a stud. I think you're right. Maybe the casual more so realize.
Yeah, guys don't really watch the Cavs unless you're a fan of them. Like they're gonna see this kid play and they're gonna go, "Whoa! Like who's this?"
You know what might be another thing when you watch this series, you might like realize like, and we kind of already know this, but you might watch this series and go, man, RJ Barrett's just a giant black hole. Like
tell me about it. I've been trying to tell people that for years.
It's just like,
oh my gosh, we're going straight to Knicks Twitter. I swear that's all they argue about is RJ Barrett. It's like Derek Carr and Raiders Twitter.
I'm telling you, RJ Barrett has been so bad from 3 this year. If you look, he's been so bad, and it's not like he's been able to get to the rim as much. He's gonna need quickly. Like I'm telling you, the way this series is won is Brunson, Quickly, and Grimes. Like lock in. Mitchell Robinson has really good rim protection. Like you could definitely see them go. Like even if Randall's quote unquote healthy, you could see them going Mitch Rob at the 5, Barrett at the 4, Grimes Quickly, and then Brunson. And you could also look around and be like, man, great series. We went 7 games. And you know who shot 3 for 15? RJ Barrett. And like, you're like, the dude just couldn't hit a corner 3. Like we used to make fun of Harrison Barnes back in the day, right? Like the dude just needs to hit his damn shots in the corner. Like this is going to be a fun series. I'm very excited to watch it. Obviously the first round we talked about it spread. There's a lot of these very boring series, but this one is going to have a lot of fun and excitement and different aspects to it because I really think the Knicks are going to be hanging around because Jalen Brunson is that guy, right? He's got the dog in him.
If JB Bickerstaff has any sense and that lineup's on the floor, you get Mobley in the post every play and just bully Barrett to the hoop.
Yeah, I think you're right.
All right. Let's talk about the most exciting first-round series in the last 10 years, the battle for Northern California. And we're going to give the people what we want, right? Because let's be honest, why do the people tune in? First of all, they want the winners, but it seems like they really get excited when you and the chat just completely clown me, crush my dreams, and bring me close to tears on the show. So now you guys have the opportunity. JC, I'll start with you here. The Golden State Warriors are a 6 seed, minus 275 right now. It was as high as minus 300. This is the biggest price that I can remember in the last 10 years for a lower seed that's not in the 5-4 matchup. And even then, it might even cover that. I don't even remember a 5 being minus 300. Talk to me about the Warriors. And does the Beam team, the team that put a community on its back, that saved a city, do they have a chance?
Yeah, this is a tough one. Like I think looking at it, everyone's going to automatically go to Golden State, reigning champions. They're just a team that doesn't die. They're seed-wise, they're an underdog. Obviously, pricing gives them a favorite. You want to look at the bracket. You want to find the dogs that are going to win the series. I think a lot of people are going to be attracted to that and overlook the Kings. I think it's going to be a really tight battle. Man, I just don't know if I can get there on Sacramento because it's one of those things. Yes, I could see them winning, but how stupid are you going to feel if you bet the Kings and Golden State wins in 5?
I never feel dumb when I miss on like a plus 225, right? I mean, your implied probability is right around 37% there. So it's not like you're coming out taking a bold stand. Yeah, but it is tough. It's definitely tough for us. The good thing is, we're like the definition of that Oscar person who goes up there and says, I'm just happy to be nominated. I mean, we really are just happy to be nominated. Rubio, to me, this series comes down to how well can Andrew Wiggins get back into form and how well Klay Thompson can play. Thompson's defense has degraded in the past couple of years. In the past, he did not need to shoot effectively to help the team win, right? Because he could help get those stops, be an effective defender, and just create space on the floor for the other players. Now I feel that Thompson needs to be shooting well for him to be an advantageous player on the floor. To me, those two guys swing the series. I think we know what we're going to get from the Kings. It's really which Warriors team shows up. How do you see this series going, Rubio?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because the Warriors, you look at them, it felt like we haven't had them a full team all season, it feels like. I mean, I think we had it for just a very small stretch there in January, February, and then the whole Wiggins thing happened. Curry's injury happened earlier in the season. Klay, Jordan Poole, blah, blah, blah. Like, we finally get the Warriors healthy, but like you said, we have barely seen Andrew Wiggins in the last few months, and that's going to be a huge deal. Is he even fit enough to play a full NBA game right now? And I know they probably just used the past couple of weeks for conditioning. It's going to be something very intriguing, but this is a Kings team where, like, I'm a Pacers fan, Spread. I'm very grateful that we were able to unload Sabonis on you guys and get Tyrese Halliburton.
Oh, wow. I didn't know we were coming in from this angle.
I'm sorry. But this is a Kings team that I don't think their play translates well to the playoffs at all. I think they've been very fortunate enough to stay healthy and win close games, which is a skill. I'm very glad for them. They're a 38 win team and a 3-seed body right now, and it's terrible for me. And it is killing me right now. They are no better than anyone in the playoffs. I think I wouldn't even pick him at any series in the East. I'm not picking the Kings, and I don't think Sabonis' game translates really well. You're going to see maybe some empty stats. Fox, I think he has to take over. I mean, he gets the Curry matchup. He gets the Klay matchup. That backcourt's been weak defensively. If Fox shows up, maybe I'll give him a game. But I think this is the worst case scenario. You get a team that has literally bled through the playoffs for years upon years, the last half decade. I'm sorry, Kings. I think I would even venture to say it could be a sweep.
Oh, wow. Travis, I don't even know what to say. Fortunately, you're on the show with us.
Well, why? Because you think I'm going to back you for sure? You feel good?
No, I don't. I've been hit to the gut over and over by Rubio.
Sorry, Spread. I'm sorry.
I think here's the thing. I told you all year, like the Warriors got to flip this switch. Like, and when are they going to flip the switch? Right? Like everyone thinks that they're going to team that just can easily win the West, but like, I wish the Kings didn't get this matchup because I think the Kings could have. I think this is a tough
could have beat the
matchup.
Clippers. We could have beat the T-Wolves.
I
We could have
know,
beat the Pelicans. We can't beat the Warriors.
You could beat the
It's
Grizzlies.
terrible.
Yeah, I agree. I hate that you guys got this matchup, but you know what's telling? That price is not one that anyone is racing the bet. And there's a reason why, Rubio. There's a reason why. Because it ain't going to be this 4-0. The Kings are going to show up. The beam will be lit a couple nights at least. Maybe at least one, maybe two. But Rubio, what number would you bet the Kings at? It's plus 215, Rubio. There's a reason why. There's a reason. What
Would you bet at plus 500, Rubio?
No.
Plus 1,000.
Wouldn't bet it. Give me 20-1. Maybe I'll think about it.
All right, can
But
I bet?
Wow.
Can I bet, can I bet the
These teams will
Kings?
work in the playoffs. They're a bottom 10 NBA team.
Can I?
They're a bottom 10 NBA team.
Can I bet the Kings 15-1 at RubioSportsbook.com?
15-1 at Rubio? No. I would push it to 20-1 for you.
You'll give me
He's
20
giving you an extra
You'll
5.
give me 20
I need a membership at this
I'm
book.
in.
If you're just
How much
jumping odds
how
up.
much can I wager on that, Rubio?
We'll do a lunch bet for you because I like doing lunch bets.
So 20 lunches?
Well, here's the thing. It would be 20 lunches. I'll do 20 lunches for you.
20 lunches to one lunch. I have the Kings.
And I get Chipotle with guac, chips, and queso.
That's fine because I'm getting the same thing. So whatever that meal, what does that equate to? How much does that cost?
$2. You know,
How much?
we go California.
Rubio's Sportsbook's about to take over FanDuel as the highest amount of action here.
So how much does that cost you?
$27 in California, probably.
So 27. So it's 27 for me also. So,
It cost me 17 in Kentucky. I didn't even get a drink or anything like that. It was pretty brutal.
so is that our number? Because again, we have to do the math. I'm getting 20-1.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. I would love to eat for free. And look, this is how confident I am, man. Going, come on down to Rubio Sportsbook.
I respect the game. I will say that. So it's $27 times 20.
Titletown can learn something from this segment. Did you hear how he gave an extra 5 odds?
He did. He gave me the extra 5. You know what? I get a nice little sweat equity to it. A decent again, it's a fun line that I think it's a closer series. I think the Warriors do end up winning. I think the Warriors, who do they get next? Do they get the...
Hey, do you think we can win game one? Here's the crazy thing about this series. We're plus 225. Warriors are minus 275. But the opening game is like -1.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? So you normally, for example, the 76ers are minus 900. They're going to be -8 or something like that, right? So, or the Cavaliers would be a better example, right? They're going to be -5 at minus 210. Warriors are minus 275 and they're only -1. Now I know that's because it's on the road, but still, if we win, you got to think game one's going to be the game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I just think this Kings team is better than people realize. I hate the matchup they got though. Again,
it sucks so bad.
But again, at this price, I'm in 20-1. It sounds fun. I'm interested in the sweat. I won't bet the plus 215. I'll admit when I looked at the line, like went to open up the book and see, I was like, maybe I can get the right line. And I was like, that's not the right line. I can't stomach it. So yeah, that's for me. If I had to bet a side on this series, I would still bet the Warriors at the minus 260.
Uncle T, spread 15 is your bonus code. Spread 15 at Rubio Sportsbook.
Jake is stealing all my thoughts here because the thing is, I think there's a couple of ways the Kings can pull this off. Everyone assuming it's going to be, a straight matchup as is, but these Warriors are so injury prone. Clay, Curry, Draymond can easily go down. Suddenly the series change. And yeah, as he pointed out, this team is horrendous on the road. The Kings get home court advantage.
Kings are the worst home team and the best road team of the 10 playoff teams left in the West. Just
yeah,
throw that out there.
You can't matter-of-factly say this series is going to go either way. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. I think it's a 6-7 game series for sure.
Spread, I got
Bro, do you know how lit it's going to be at Golden One
Spread,
on
I got
Saturday
the
night?
script for you. We found the script for how this series plays out.
Oh, I don't know. I want to hear this.
No, you're gonna love this because we've talked about this Warriors teams a lot, and there's a team I've compared them to in past that had a nice little dynasty and they ran a nice course. And when that dynasty died, they got a playoff matchup with a different team in the West that nobody really wanted to give them a shot. That team took them to 7 games, and a clutch layup later, the Spurs were on the outside of the playoffs looking in after one round. We just talked about it. Kings' best road team, Warriors suck on the road. This thing gets into 7 games, and these are tight games. They have the best clutch scorer in the league. Fox is going to hit a shot in game 7, and people are going to go, wow, didn't see this one coming, but the Warriors are going home in round 1.
Yeah,
Wow.
I just think this series price is very telling that this could be a better series.
It's going to be a lot better than people think, and people are trying to be like, it's just like how people wanted to give the Spurs. They're like, oh, the Spurs are still the Spurs. They still got their guys. They're going to just run through teams. Are we sure the Warriors are still what they were even just last year? Like, they don't have the depth they had last year. These guys can get hurt, like JC said. We have no idea what Wiggins is going to look like. You could tell me all you want. He's been training while he's off. It's still not playoff level basketball. Like, I think this is going to be very good. And people talk about the Warriors, like, picking this matchup out, not wanting to drop to a different seed. Looking around, this is probably the best matchup for the Kings, too, because those other teams like to play defense. The Kings could just get into a score fest and beat this team 145 to 144. They weren't beating a Lakers team that was going to clamp down on defense if they got to the 6th seed.
All right. I wish I could get in there with you. My worry is that you can put Draymond on Sabonis. He can do a pretty good job. And then you got Gary Payton that you can throw on Fox. It's
I mean, he can do a good job, but like I just think again, if these series stay close, they have Fox. Like
it's gonna be a lot.
The Warriors have given up a lot to big men all season. Spread, it is true, right? And honestly, these guys are lighting up the 3-and-D guys, right? And who doesn't love a good Harrison Barnes revenge game, right? Spread.
Excellent. Do we have any other revenge in that one? I don't think we do.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. It's
Dante DiVincenzo. That was the other revenge.
Oh yes, massive Dante DiVincenzo revenge game.
Rubio, before we go to the last series, will you give me Kings plus 2.5 games, just even money for one?
Oh, 100%. I'll definitely do that with you.
All right, I'm in there with you. Just 1-to-1. We'll do that. We can Venmo the Chipotle money.
I love lunch bets. We'll do the same lunch bet. $27.
All right, fantastic. The Los Angeles Clippers. This line is crazy to me, guys. They're plus 425. I'd like the Suns to win the West too if we're just picking names out of a hat. But this line is wrong. Tyler, should I bet the Clippers? Plus 425.
No. I mean, it's the Suns we're talking about. Yeah, they traded away a lot of depth to get KD there. They haven't lost yet. So it looks like the trade worked out. I know the schedule wasn't all that hard, but I don't see Paul George coming back through the door either. Yeah, Kawhi.
He's not going to be back. It's almost certain.
Okay, so he's already rolled out.
Yeah.
So Kawhi could
maybe a Game 7 appearance.
Kawhi could make some noise, but I'm not going to back the Suns minus 450. If you want to sit here and try and nitpick where you're going to come in on a 4-1, a 4-2, or a sweep, I don't think it's worth it. I think there's better spots on the board in other series, but I do think the Suns win this series pretty easily.
Clippers Suns, your thought, JC Zargo.
Yeah, this was a tough one. It was a terrible draw to get in the first round. Oddly enough, this morning I wagered pretty heavily on Phoenix to win the West, paying out plus 200 right now. It's an incredible bet. They're going to K-walk through the West. I sprinkled a little bit on Clippers to win the West. Just, the value, too great to pass up. But, man, the way they are playing with Kevin Durant, they're just going to embarrass teams. Like, I don't know when they're going to lose a game. Like, they could easily sweep the Clippers. They could probably beat Denver in 4 or 5 games. And then I don't even know who's going to come out of the bottom half.
That's where they're going to get the pushback at, because that's probably going to be the Lakers waiting for them.
Oh,
or the Warriors.
Okay. Even
the Lakers are the big, like, whoa, that could be a problem because they have no answer for AD.
I don't think it'll be a problem, but fine. Still, they're waltzed into the Western Conference. I hate to see my Clippers. I mean, they basically just wasted Kawhi Leonard. I hope they put up a fight. George might be back by the later part of the series. As much as it's going to pain me to see the Clippers just get blown out in the first round again, this Phoenix team is unstoppable.
Rubio, I had to turn the air conditioning on because of all the hot takes you brought to the show so far. What do you got for us here on the Clippers Suns?
Well, I was super bullish on the Clippers about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, and then Paul George did his knee in. I'm so glad it wasn't like an ACL or anything like that, but I'm not bullish on them anymore. And in fact, the Suns are my pick to make it out the West as well. I'm with JC there. I just think I'm looking at their path, right? I love the Nuggets up until about March. Something is wrong there, and KCP's performance has just degraded completely, and his shooting has been absolutely awful the past 2 months. And you look at like Michael Porter Jr. just hasn't really stepped up the last couple months either. I love Jokic. I was so high in the Nuggets, and just lately they've been flustering. They're a 1 seed with 52 wins? That's not been the 1 seed in the past a ton of times. The 1 seeds who have had 52 wins don't tend to succeed in the playoffs, and that's why I'm on the Suns now. I just hope they stay healthy. I mean, I think that's the only concern for me. As much as I wanted to believe in the Nuggets, I don't think they're going to be able to knock off the Suns here, and I think the Suns kind of take care of business against the Clippers. I do know you never want to bet against Kawhi Leonard, it feels like, because he has the capability. He just had a 25-15 game to close out yesterday, right? But I don't think it's going to be enough. We just saw KD basically on his own. I know it's 2 years ago, but basically almost knock off the Bucks. If he is anywhere near himself, which that's the hope, right? I just see the Suns kind of being able to get it out of the West. I just have one question for you. Where's the respect for the Lakers coming from? I don't get it. I'm trying to think about this.
Because we know they're going to get every single
They're going to get every call. They're the best defensive team since the All-Star break. They have the second best record in the NBA since the All-Star break. Like, ever since they retooled the roster, like, that team has just resurrected itself. Like, it's a whole new team from the beginning of the season.
And Reeves has stepped up, but D'Angelo Russell is not going to be a guy who's able to clamp down anyone. That backcourt is going to be exposed. I'm really worried about that matchup if they get the Grizzlies. I think John Morant's going to have a field day. I think you're going to see – you want to talk about bad depth, and I know it doesn't really matter in the playoffs and stuff, but if anything happens to LeBron, AD, or anyone, Dennis Schroeder is basically your sixth man. That is garbage. He's one of the worst point guards in the league, and I really worry about them. I really worry about them in that backcourt because I think AD is a stud. Like, I think he would be the best player in this series, I think, and LeBron too. You can make the argument they got the 1 and 2 best players in that series, but I just don't think they've been able to piece it together for an extended period of time. Sure, it's been the second half of the season. Sure, they've been missing LeBron during that same process. But I just don't see why we should respect them when in the past, maybe the Russell Westbrook thing was a huge toxic thing. Getting rid of him was this big of a help. But I'm still basing the other 65 games where, maybe there was issues. There was clear issues. And they're still a 7 seed for a reason. I don't know. I don't see the Lakers being able to knock off the Suns. I don't even see them being able to knock off the Grizzlies either.
Do you like the way he punched you into the ground in his last breakdown spread and stomped you out? And then he walked over and put his hand out. Yeah, he's like, all right, let me
back up
off the ground and dust you
And now
off.
he has an open invitation to come on the NBA Rundown at any time. Travis, we've been members of Clippers University before. It looks like we're getting a discount on our enrollment price for this series. What do you think? Is it time to go back to school and attend Clippers University?
Yeah, before we start, breaking news. Rubio dimes that if AD or LeBron get hurt, the Lakers are torn.
You got me there. When I said it, I knew it too.
Whoa! AD gets hurt and the Lakers are in trouble? Man.
We're going to grab that horn for every time you guys say that Giannis or Jokic is a good play at 12K or whatever.
You're telling me Tristan Thompson's not going to save the day out of nowhere? Which, first of all, I don't know why they did that one. That was incredible. But so anyways, yeah, I'm gonna make this quick spread. It's the Clippers, they're going fishing, right? 3-2-1 Cancun. It's that easy. I think the Suns win this one. I don't know what the Suns' path will be. I do not. Again, I think the West is way more open than people realize. I'm not here to declare the Suns are walking through the West, but I do think the Suns win this first series very easily. So if you had to pick a side, it's the Suns. But again, I don't see myself wagering much on this. This feels like a great one to throw in that. If you want to make that big 3 or 4 round parlay for round 1 of guys that you think can win it, toss the Suns in there, right? That one's one of you had to pick one of the surefire ones that seems like it's some of the better odds. Like we don't have the other ones, right? Like the Celtics and all these other teams. But like, I don't know. That minus 450, I actually think the minus 450 on the Suns it might even be better than the Sixers one. I don't know. If I had to pick, right? If I'm like creating some parlays, it might get me enough to get to the even number, I guess is what I'm getting at.
All right, Travis, give me who you expect the finals to be.
Hang on, before we do that.
All right.
Yeah.
I just wanted to emphasize, I forgot a point I got to make on the series on how bad it's going to be if Sunday was any indication. Clippers had to win on Sunday, right, to avoid the play-in tournament. They're going up against a Suns team that sat their starting 5. Kawhi played, and they could barely beat them.
Did you see the clips though? Did you see the clips where Ty Lue was talking to the coaches and the guys behind him? They had heavy, like they were monitoring that other game heavily. Yeah. I feel like they kind of just lulled around the entire game, and they were like waiting to see what the Wolves did to see if they were just going to yank everybody off the floor and just give the game away. And they never got the chance to do that and had to just gut out a win in the end.
For sure. But in a Kawhi Leonard team going up against a Suns team that's sitting there starting 5, I mean, that man should have 50 points.
That's why I think that's what happened. I think they went out and they're like, listen, you guys are going to play, but if we get noticed that the Wolves game is out of hand, you guys are all getting pulled. And it just never got to that point.
Yeah, it was ugly.
Yeah, and I wouldn't hate, like, if you're looking for bets to make, like Suns minus 1.5, I wouldn't hate that one. It's minus 172 though. It's not great.
That's your parlay piece right there.
Yeah, like putting that in instead of the other one. Like again, there's ways to like take advantage of this and like just shop around. You have to shop for them. Like that's super important part of it. You can find some really good lines between all the books and create some decent like 2 or 3 leg parlay you can get to close enough to even money and be able to just kind of feel like you're just have an advantage for sure. But yeah, that's kind of it for me on this game. You said, who do I have in the final spread?
Can I just point out real quick that doesn't this just sound? You can hear the New York accent.
I can hear his voice saying.
I can hear the New York accent through the typing. Chalk spelled with the W.
Yeah.
The one thing I wanted to say about that comment, though, if there's any time to break that rule in all sports betting, it's the first round of the NBA playoffs. Some of the chalkiest results that you'll get year round in any sport.
Yeah, so
all right, your finals pick. What do you got for us, Travis? And a best bet too, a promo code. I mean, let's do it all here as we wrap this up.
Okay, so let me think. How can we? So we have the. I don't know what we have going on today, sports wise or show wise. I think we have a premium MLB show at 6 p.m. So check that out. Use the code SPREAD15, get you 15% off. I'll be doing MLB and NBA stuff throughout the next, couple weeks or so. So be sure to check that out. I'll be doing the cash stuff. I'll be doing my 3-max single entry stuff. I'll definitely be deep in the NBA streets. I'll be in the Discord. So if you have questions, feel free to ask. I love this playoff time of year. I'll be grinding it out big time. I'm delaying a little bit because I'll admit I'm not sold on my Western Conference team right now.
Do you want me to throw it to JC and come back to you?
I feel very good that the Celtics go all the way. I think the Celtics go all the way. How's this, Red? This will be a team.
I get called homered and biased.
Yeah, but the Celtics are the best team. I don't know what to tell you. I just call it how it is, Fred.
Really? Do they have the best record in the NBA?
They're the best team. Trust me. So Celtics, I'm taking them to go all the way. Now, I'm going to tell you this, Fred. You'll get my Western Conference team on Friday's rundown.
Very good. That's what we call a tease.
That's what we call a tease in the business. It saves me some
time.
Let
me give you a $1 bill.
Gets me to watch a couple things going forward. The West is very open. And I just would say this. Don't embrace some variance in the West, because last year, if I told you the Mavericks win the Western Conference Finals, you would have told me I'm an idiot. You would have said there's no chance they were beating the Suns when they were up 2-0, and then they came back. There's crazy scenarios that can happen, and this year feels very, very wide open in the West.
I feel confident that the Mavericks will not do it this year. Rubio, who's your NBA Finals pick?
Oh, man, now Joey Work's really not going to like me now because I'm going with the Suns and Bucks. Shout out to Joey Work, by the way. I tailed some of the MMA action too, and I also got Christian Rodriguez plus money too. That MMA was a fun card on Saturday. Thank you, Joey Work. The Kevin Holland bet paid off pretty well too. I'm on the Suns and Bucks. Who would have thought? And the reason being, I think the Bucks, you just have Giannis there. I think they went to 7 last year. Giannis is not the type of guy to lose the same series twice. I think he went to the gym. He worked harder. I'm just all over the Bucks. Yeah, I know they're the favorite. This is the favorite combo too. The favorites in the East and the favorite in the West. But I do think the Bucks do it. I think we see the rematch of the 2021 Finals, and that's going to be it's a little bit chalky, but that's the way I'm feeling right now.
JC, your NBA Finals prediction.
Yeah, before that, I just want to walk something back before I get burned for it later. Mangone, you were absolutely right about the Lakers beating the Grizzlies. There was talk that the Grizzlies would get one of their big men back before the playoffs. It does not look like that's going to happen. So if it is a Lakers-Memphis first round, I will be taking the Lakers. I'll ride with you. I don't want to have to eat those words later, so just want to clarify.
Wait. You guys are all going to take the Lakers over the Grizzlies?
Yeah, absolutely. They can't.
Are you going to be with me, Rubio? I'm betting with my heart. I don't even care what the projection says.
No, okay, let's say you put Triple J on LeBron.
AD, he's going to get 2 foul calls in 5 seconds because the league is more rigged than WWE. Yeah, I know.
Even if you put Triple J on AD, then LeBron's going to eat. Like, John's good. He's better than he was last year, but that is just a combo that you just can't beat. The Grizzlies don't have it with Adams and Clark out. I just don't see it happening. But for my final pick, I'm taking Suns over the Celtics in the finals.
Tyler, who's your NBA Finals pick?
I'm not going to give a winner, but I'm going to go old reliable here. The matchup we've seen a lot in the finals, Boston Lakers.
You haven't seen it a lot. I've seen it a lot.
It's just old reliable spread. It's happened so many times. LeBron's been that guy that stopped Tatum in the Eastern Conference Finals his rookie year. He got his taste of the finals last year. He ran into the Warriors, which shit happens. He gets his second chance at it, and guess who's going to be waiting for him? The guy that stopped him from his first finals trip. Can he overcome that guy again? So it's going to be a fun one.
I'm going to be so depressed if the Lakers make the finals.
I think you're getting the old school matchup. Bet it now. It's 28-1. That's going to be the final.
Spread.
I hate that. That's the worst pick ever, Tyler.
Spread. Let's turn this frown upside down. Let's root the Kings home, okay? I want to watch the beam get lit for the next 2 months, Spread, until they run into the Celtics. That's what I want to see. If my heart could want something, I think it'd be so much fun to watch a Kings run. I'll say that. If you had to pick like the team, like it's not gonna be fun to watch the Suns win games, right? That's boring. Like we had to pick a team that would be fun to watch just run through. Yeah. I think it would be the Kings spread. It's like a lovable underdog that's not really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Can you imagine like a Kings Cavaliers final?
Adam Silver can't, so no, it won't happen.
No. Yeah. Shawnee's asking MLB show today. It's the premium show at 6 p.m. Eastern. You will have JT Hayes, DC, and you were supposed to have Steve Boynton. I think he's swapping shows, though. It sounds like there's a little conflict.
I think Uncle T's going to be on. Oh, no, Uncle T's doing playbook.
Uncle T is on the playbook. So, if you want Uncle T's playbook, be sure to check that out.
And lock in those Joey work winners before those games pitch off. So, definitely get those locked in.
Pitch off. You can tell how much we know about baseball.
Yeah. I couldn't think of it. I wanted to say first pitch. It didn't fit. So, I was like, it's just going this route.
All right. Tyler, who's giving our words of wisdom here? Are we doing multiple words of wisdom? How do we close the show? I don't even know what to do. I'm a terrible host today.
Rubio's technically the new guy here right now, so I think it defaults to him.
When in doubt, never bet the Kings. Thank you.
You can't spread. We can't have that.